first ski that I truly loved, it's a bit of a toss-up, but I'm gonna have to say the Salomon 1080.
The first ski that I really loved and stuck out to me was the Dynastar Troublemaker Course Graphic.
I think the first ski I truly loved was a pair of Vocals. I must have been 9 years old, let's say, somewhere in that age range. They were hot pink, and the bases were hot pink, and I thought they were bitchin'.
The first ski that I truly loved was the Salomon 1080 gun in the baby blue ones.
When I was young, it was the 90s, you know, and it was all the same race skis. And I was fortunate enough, my parents had enough to get me and my brother in the racing program. And I remember getting my first new ski ever in my life, and those Rosignol S7S with the Vass, kind of weird shape, bright yellow. Oh man.
I actually traded a pair of my slalom race skis, the only pair that I had, for a pair of Salomon 1080s. It was middle of the season, so I ended up having to race every slalom that year on a pair of 1080s. So much so that I ended up going switch through the finish line a couple times. My coaches didn't like that.
So there was the Troublemaker in the early 2000s, and it was a huge deal. From Level 1 movies, the Three Phils, Tanner Rainville, the stacked team. And this course ski had all of their last names on the back, and so as a kid, you think that you can ski like those people if they're on your ski. I can vividly remember this run called Sun Bowl in my home mountain, and there's about a 15-foot cliff, and we'd always just jumped off it in straight air. And I always thought, like, man, I wonder if I could Lincoln loop that. And I'm like 13, 14 years old, and all the cool older guys are at the bottom, and like, screw it, let's just try it, man. And so I just lay it out, see the landing, and smash right into the ground. And thankfully those courses had a ton of camber, and so I just slammed on down and rode out. And interestingly enough, about 12 years later, I ended up on Dynastar, and full circle. I've got a picture of me waxing the ski on the garage floor.
When I got those skis, they were probably a bit too long because, as any smart parent would do, they buy skis that their child can grow into and not what fits them right at that moment. So I think those skis were a little long, but they were hot pink, they had hot pink bases, and to me, that meant they were fast.
Where I grew up in Canada, everyone, the CMH heli skiing operation had been getting these custom-built vocal explosives, they're called, since like the 90s, early 90s, even late 80s. I think Atomic Powder Magic was the first fat-produced ski out of a major European manufacturer in 1988. I remember literally saying, like, riding the lifts at Lake Louise and being like, we don't need fat skis, like, we're the best skiers on the mountain. Like, these guys, those are made for like the Euro tourists that come to Canada don't know how to ski in powder. Like, skiing is meant to be this level of skill that you have to achieve, but that didn't last long. But I was ignorant.
It was kind of a fluke. Like, it was the only year that Salomon made a 154 length in this ski, and like, I was a really little kid, and I was so psyched to finally get men's skis and finally get like an actual powder ski. I remember too, like, that was really cool for me because Mike Douglas skied on those skis, and Douglas was like totally my hero. Like, there's still a drawing that I did in like Microsoft Word, like, I don't know, like clip art of Mike Douglas, like hanging on my parents' fridge.
That 1080 was just like, it opened your mind to like, oh, you can ski in so many new, unique ways. That ski definitely changed my life. I did a lot of skiing on that for a number of years until, I don't know what happened to them. They probably just, I skied them out and they broke in half or something like that. But I skied them for like 5 or 6 years straight from when I was like 13 to 18. They were awesome.